Hi folks. In this video, I'm going to show you how to program your Blackmagic WebPresenter. You may have noticed that your Blackmagic WebPresenter really has two buttons that you use. It has on air and it has off. How does that machine know magically where to send your video signal to? How does the internet know that the video signal you're sending is supposed to go to YouTube or Subsplash or Facebook or wherever you stream to? That all gets programmed in software. There's an application that will run on Windows or Mac OS, I guess we are supposed to say. And that software will program the WebPresenter so it knows all that stuff. Let me give you a quick introduction to that. And for that, we're just going to look at the desktop on the Windows computer that's here at this church. You can probably just run this software. If you have a computer that's running slideshow software like Proclaim or PowerPoint or ProPresenter, just install this application on that computer. You will very, very rarely need to adjust these settings, so you don't need a dedicated computer for this or anything like that. Yeah, okay, let's go look at Windows. All right, here we are on the Windows desktop for this particular church. And we're going to look for a program called Blackmagic Streaming Setup. This is the new name of the program beginning around November of 2025. So if you don't have this, go ahead and navigate to, in fact, let me bring up a web browser. I'll just show you this real quick. You can go to blackmagic.com, design.com/support. This is their support and download page. This is where the downloads show up. That's a lot of downloads for a lot of things Blackmagic makes. So just go ahead and filter by streaming and encoding. And you're looking for the most recent Blackmagic streaming update. And get the appropriate one. If you're on Mac, get that. If you're on Windows, get that. Download, install that program. And you will get Blackmagic Streaming Setup. Cool. Now I opened it, and the first thing that happens, it says no video streamer found. If you encounter this error message, it's because you have a network problem, or you can also connect to the WebPresenter via USB. There's a port in the front of the thing. Here, there's a USB-C connection inside of there that you can use for cell phones if you want to stream using a cell connection. But in this case, you can also connect your Windows PC to that. I disconnected the Ethernet cable for a second just to make this point, to help you see that. If you're getting that error message, you should either try connecting via USB between the computer and the WebPresenter like I showed you, or sort out your networking issues. You have some sort of networking issue where the computer and the WebPresenter are not on the same network. And that's a complicated set of questions, so I'm not going to address it here. We're just going to keep moving. So I plugged the connection back into the WebPresenter, which is why it popped up here. Really, everything you want to adjust is inside of this menu right here. It's loading, and there's a lot of settings through here. I'm going to take you to setup first, though, because these are some settings about how you even access the device. You can change the name of it, language, you can change that, do some diagnostics and stuff. Your network settings are all in here, so I've changed those based on the needs of this particular church. Connection priority, really you want to allow utility administration via USB and Ethernet. You want to make sure that's selected. Just because sometimes it's easier to get there via the USB. Anyway, those are sort of a side issue. Let me take you to the real crux of what you're interested in here. How do you tell this WebPresenter where to stream to? First, you need to pick a frame rate. I would suggest you pick whatever the resolution is of your setup. If you have 4K, I would do 4K. And then you want 29.97 frames per second, which is commonly used. I think streaming at 59.94 eats up twice the bandwidth, but doesn't actually make things better. So I would not do that unless you just have bandwidth coming out the nose, if your internet connection is really, really great. Let me show you, you have some presets here. YouTube, Facebook, you can stream to Microsoft Teams, you can stream to Instagram, Vimeo, Boxcast, all this stuff, or custom URL. So let me show you what happens if we just go to YouTube RTMP. Server, it already knows the server. It really just wants the stream key. And that is something that your YouTube software will provide to you. Let me show you where to find that if you're using YouTube. I'm not going to show you a lot of these different software platforms, I'm not going to show you a lot of these different software platforms because you can stream to a ton of things. But if I show you on YouTube, you'll get the point, and then you'll have to go sort out the rest yourself. Okay, so in YouTube, you want to go to the Go Live page, which will bring you right here to this right here. We'll wait for it to load. It gives me all these different settings. Stream key, paste in the encoder. That's what WebPresenter is. WebPresenter is a hardware encoder. So you can just copy it. I could show you mine, but it's something I need to keep a little discreet, but it just looks like gibberish. Copy, go over here, and then you would paste it here, right? Control C, Control V. And if you have one of these presets like this, it's usually that easy. It's never that easy with Facebook. Don't stream to Facebook. But most of the rest of them are very easy. Great. And then you can pick how intensive the data stream should be. This church has really good bandwidth, so we're using streaming high. If your bandwidth isn't so great for your internet connection, you might drop it down to streaming medium or even streaming low. Okay. Now, in the case of this church, they don't actually stream to YouTube. They stream to Subsplash. And so in this case, we had to go to Subsplash's settings and go to their tech support and say, hey, what's your RTMP feed and what's your stream key? Yeah, so if you're using that's what you'll have to do. Yeah, if you're using some company to do your streaming for you, you'll need to get that information, but it's information that they are accustomed to giving out. So it's not weird at all that you're asking. Let's look in here, cancel. And I'm going to cancel this out because I don't want to mess up this church's streaming, but you would normally click save, right? Cancel. All right, folks. So that's what it takes to program the WebPresenter, the hardware encoder.